world of nature's wonder. My name is Lady Juliet. I am here to observe through my lenses the next guest on my show. My guest is going to be decorating the church in readiness for a wedding about to take place today. Here, right behind me, in this church called St. Mary's with All Souls Church on Abbey Road, London, United Kingdom. Come with me. Let's watch and observe how she decorates the church. Stay tuned. My guest will be giving us an in-depth look into the business of event decoration. Let's meet my guest. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you for having me on the show, Lady Juliet. My name is Manuela Konan and I'm the owner of Florissa Designs, an event decor and floristry company based in London, United Kingdom.
It's a pleasure to have you on our show today, Manuela. Share with us exactly what do you do in your company or in your business.
Okay, thank you, Lady Juliet. My role as an event or wedding decorator is to basically beautify spaces. So let's say we've got a client who has a wedding or a special celebration and they are going to celebrate their 60th birthday and they've booked their venue and they are now looking for something to bring that venue to the next level. So that's where I come in. So my role will be to meet with them, gather some ideas and try to find out really the vision they have for the event and what they would like the event to look like when the guests come inside. And from there we will discuss things like flowers, centerpieces, and the most important thing is colors, because all of us, we have special colors that we like, and I think that's one of the main part that when I meet a client I always try to find out what is the, how can I say that, what is the color scheme. So from there, once I get the color scheme and the type of flowers that they like, then we discuss then linen, chairs, dance floor, all those kind of things that really bring together an event. And after I've gathered all those information, then I will go away, put together what we call a mock-up, so they can get a better idea of how the event will look like. And then on the day of the event, me and my team will get to the venue and basically transform the whole space, decorate the place with fresh flowers or artificial, bring in the chairs, the cutleries, the plates, everything that matches the theme that they've chosen. And then when my guests get to the venue, they can see the whole transformation and basically enjoy the whole evening with their guests. So in a nutshell, this is my job.
That's a lot. That's interesting, but it's a lot of work. I can only imagine. Well, thank you very much for letting us into what your job is all about. Because most of us attend events and we just come in and stroll in stylishly, get seated, served with champagne, wine, whatever. But we really don't think about the labor
Yes.
behind all that decor.
Yes.
So that takes me to my next question,
Okay.
and that is, what triggered your interest in a business like this? Why did you decide to go into event decoration?
As a child, I've always been someone that was very creative from a very young age. I loved art and craft, drawing, all those things that have to do with creativity, but I've never really saw myself becoming an event decorator, and I didn't even know there was a career as an event decorator. So when I left France and moved to the UK, I initially came to become a hair hostess, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So one day I offered help to another decorator that was setting up what we call baby christening. And then she called me that day and said, "Oh, Manuela, I'll need help." So I just went and assisted her on the day, and I completely fell in love with the whole process of just taking some balloons, some flowers, some, you know, little accessories to just transform the whole place. And from there I thought, okay, maybe that's something that I could do. So I enrolled at the University of Arts in Elephant and Castle and did a 2-year foundation degree, and from there specialized in floristry as well. So that's one of the main strengths of our business. We specialize in fresh flowers as well as artificial. So I did that for 2 years, and then after that I tried to get a job, but I couldn't get anything. Everywhere I was going, the doors were just getting shut one by one, and everybody was kept on pushing me that, "Oh, Manuela, you should really start your own business." But I guess at that time I wasn't really confident in myself. And then after spending almost 2 years without a job, I thought, you know what, let me just take the plunge and just go for it. And that's how the whole company came to life.
Oh, that's a very interesting story, Manuela. You know, I did a video a couple of weeks ago here on the channel, and I talked about passion.
Yes.
Finding your passion in business. Because I did say that once you find something you're passionate about,
Yes.
it will not feel like work.
That's the thing.
You will love it, you wake up every morning and you're ready to go.
Yes.
So will I be wrong or right to say that you found your passion in
Definitely.
decorating
Definitely.
events?
Definitely.
Oh, that's good. Well then, I'm happy to hear that. Now, over to the next question. How long have you been in the business?
I started back in 2009 working with different florists and assisting other people, but the company itself was created back in 2014. So it's been 7 years now that we've been in business, and I'm really happy that we've been able to sustain ourselves even through what we've all been through with the pandemic and all of that.
Yeah. Some businesses don't last that long, so it's a good thing. And I'm sure that 7 years, I still do feel that your business will still be around for a while.
Thank you.
What type of people use your services?
The people that use my services are mainly brides.
Okay.
Because that's the main events that need flowers and decoration. But I also get people who are maybe, like I said earlier, planning a birthday celebration. I sometimes get Christmas parties and also corporate events. I've done a few corporate events when companies will have their Christmas party at the end of the year, so that's when I'll go in and decorate the space for them and their employees. But mainly I deal with brides.
You deal with weddings?
Yes, weddings.
I love weddings.
Me too.
I do feel that weddings are happy occasions,
Yes.
you know, unlike funerals.
Yes.
What categories of these clients you've just mentioned do you love to work with most?
I will say that definitely I love weddings. I really, really, truly love weddings because it's such a joyous occasion, and it gives me the opportunity to really be personal with my clients. Whereas corporate events, even though I love corporate events as well, but corporate events sometimes before you get to the owner, you will have to deal with the secretary, with the HR department, so you never really get to meet the person behind the brand. But with weddings, I spend a lot of time on the phone or speaking through emails with my bride, so I get to know them on a really personal level, and that also gives me idea on what to do and what not to do when I'm decorating a place for them. So I've got a wedding coming up in October, and one of my brides shared a story of a loss that she encountered recently, and she was telling me about some of the colors that reminded her of that person that she wants to incorporate into the wedding. So those are little information that are good when I'm speaking with them, so that at least I can get a better idea of what to do and what not to do when I'm decorating their events.
In short, you liaise with your client so that you can truly capture their vision.
Yes, yes.
Manifest those visions in your decorations.
Yes.
That's a very interesting thing. That's good.
Yeah.
So how do your clients find you?
Okay, they mainly find me through social media, mainly Instagram, because nowadays Instagram is the main platform for brides. We've also got Pinterest and Facebook, or sometimes through Google search, if they are looking for, let's say, London venue decorators or London venue stylists or London florists, then that's when my company will come up and then they will contact me. But mainly I will say through social media, Instagram, Pinterest and Facebook.
That's good.
Yes.
Well, that's what everybody uses these days. So tell me, Manuela, because we are right now seated in your office.
Yes.
And I know that we're surrounded by boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. So tell me, what are some of the, or if you can tell us all the essential tools, that would be nice. But what are some of the essential tools needed to get started in a business like this?
I will say one advice that I will give is to know where you want to specialize yourself. So me, for example, I do both decoration and floristry, but another decorator might want to focus on maybe just hiring furnitures for weddings and parties, and somebody else might just want to specialize in floristry. So once you've established where you want to specialize yourself, then from there you can start building your stock. But as a decorator and a florist, I will say definitely all your floristry tools like scissors, pins, wires. So there's quite a long list. And then for decoration, I feel like you get to build your stock as you go. I would not advise anybody to buy everything in bulk unless you want to only hire to people. But as a decorator, everybody has a different vision for their wedding, so sometimes it's quite difficult to say that, okay, I'm only gonna get 100 chairs, because your bride will come and say maybe, oh, I want that white chair, but another one will come and say, I hate white, I want pink. That's the thing.
And that also includes candles.
Yes, yes. But
and the flowers too. Yes.
Yes, but as an essential, your vase, all your floristry tools, and things like, people don't normally do chair covers anymore, but things like chair covers, tablecloths, linen, all your cutleries, if you really want to provide the whole service, all these things are things that you need to think about and invest in if you want to start as a decorator.
Good. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, because I wondered when I came in here, oh my God, what are these books? Are you moving office? And when you said no, I was like, okay, all right. Well, at some point during the interview, I must ask what the boxes are here for.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing that with me and with my audience as well. Now, let's talk money, Manuela.
Yes.
Because as you know, my show is all about money. Business is equals to money. How much in funds do you think one needs to have to get started in this business?
Can I be honest with you?
Please do. That's all. That's what I want to hear. I like honesty and transparency.
Okay, I would definitely, looking back at my own experience, I would definitely advise everyone to have their own starting funds. I wouldn't advise anybody to go and take a loan, because that's what I did when I started. And this business, there will be rainy days, and when the rainy day come, you still need to pay back your loan.
Yes.
So it can be difficult at the beginning to adjust yourself. So I would advise, I think with maybe, let's say £5,000 is a good amount to start with.
£5,000?
Yes, is a good amount.
For a very small
Yes,
size business.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I think that's quite good to be able to get some of the essentials like the vase, maybe a few artificial flowers if you want to specialize with that. But as a florist, you don't really need that much equipment, just your scissors and, you know, few bits and pieces, like I said, your vase and things like that, so your foam, all those things. But I believe you don't really need that much if you specialize in floristry. But as a decorator, you might need like a small capital of £5,000. I think that would be more than enough to start.
So £5,000 to get started.
Yes.
On a small scale.
Yes.
As an event decorator.
Yes.
You mentioned something about college earlier on while we were
Yes.
talking. How important is it to get a university degree, a college degree, or be an intern in a company that is already into decoration? How important is a university degree?
You don't need a degree for these kind of things. I went to
Okay.
university because I really wanted to provide the best of services, but you don't really need a degree or, you know, 5 years of studies. I believe that those kind of jobs like I do are mainly gift that you have, and then along the line you have to perfect them. But saying that, you need some kind of education. So I will say there's a lot of courses out there for maybe 6 months or maximum a year, especially if you want to work as a florist. That one, I'm sorry, you need to go to school to learn the basics of floristry, because there's so much to learn about flowers. Some flowers will not last, some flowers can last. So you need to know what to be able to use. If your bride comes and say, okay, I want blue flowers, unfortunately most blue flowers are quite expensive, and some of them will not even last throughout the whole season, and some of them you can't get them in April, you can't get them in July, and your bride wants to get married in July. So if you don't know all those kind of things, then you are setting yourself for failure. But I would definitely say you need to get some kind of education, but you don't need a degree.
So you don't really need a university degree,
Yes.
but it would be nice to get some experience.
Yes, definitely.
And some basic knowledge before you
Yes.
get started.
Yes.
Otherwise, you end up ruining somebody's big day.
Yes.
Okay, for the benefit of myself and my viewers, Manuela, can you please clarify some confusion here? What is the difference between an event planner and event decorator like yourself? The difference between these two job titles.
Okay, basically the role of an event planner is to, depending that once again on how much the planner has to do throughout the whole process of a wedding or an event, but their role really is to source all the different vendors. So you've got your caterers, your photographer, your videographer, your makeup artist, your hairstylist. So the job of the event planner is to source all those different vendors, and then make sure that on the day they know what to do, they know where to go, they know what time to come, they know what time to leave, they know what equipment to use if they are getting to the venue. So just like a manager, really, an event planner is the manager of the event. And then my role as a decorator, I'm just a supplier on the day. So I will come, and according to what the planner has told me to do, then I will follow her instruction and the bride's instruction, and then decorate the whole place.
Make it come alive.
Yes.
Make it wedding-ish.
Yes.
Good. Now let's talk some very serious issues here,
Okay.
and that is challenges.
Yes.
I am aware that every business has challenges. No matter how simple the business might appear, there are always challenges.
Yes.
So please tell us from experience, of course, what has been the so many challenges or very little challenges
Wow.
in this business?
Wow. I don't want to discourage anybody, but there's a lot of challenges that I've encountered ever since I've started this business. The main challenge for me, I think it's physically, it's a very demanding job. It's really exhausting, and for me, when I do an event, it takes me at least a week to recover.
A week?
A week to recover, because you will be on your feet, up and down, on the floor, on the ladder. You will be doing everything. Even as the owner, I've got people working for me on the day and with me, but I still have to be hands-on. I still have to be there. I still have to direct them. I still have to be on site to do certain things that they might not be able to do. So I will say the main challenge for me is really physically, it's draining. It's really draining, and I feel like if you don't love this job, you will not be able to last, because after 2 weddings you will be so tired that you will give up.
So one needs to be physically fit.
Yes.
To do this job.
Yes.
So viewers, I have had the opportunity of observing Manuela decorate a wedding venue. Take a look. Thank you. Manuela, can you tell us some more about the challenges you face in this business?
Okay, another challenge that some people might not see it as a challenge is that you need to be very creative, because every customer that comes to you expect their event to be at the top. So definitely you cannot reproduce something that you've done before for somebody else. So it's like your brain is constantly working. You will find yourself spending hours on Google searching for ideas. Sometimes you're tired, but you can't really listen to your body, and you have to always come up with new ideas, new designs, new inspirations, so that first of all, you are able to deliver something of quality to your customers, and also you are, as a business, you can sustain yourself and maybe reach the top, because this is a business that is quite competitive. There's so many event decorators out there, so you really need to find that special something about yourself that will make you very unique, and that when customers sees maybe your website or meet you in person, they are convinced that no, this person can do the job. So yes, I will say the creativity side, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm lost of ideas. So when I get calls and a client is telling me about their wedding, and I know that it's something similar to something that I've done before, I always have to keep in mind that I can't, even if I've done it before, I cannot reproduce what I've done before. I always have to bring a fresh idea, something new that will make it different from what I've done. So yes, I would say the creativity side of things can be quite challenging sometimes when you are maybe lost for ideas or a bit tired and you don't know what to do.
So the very first challenge in this business is that of the tedious nature of the business, which I have seen, I've witnessed firsthand, viewers, watching Manuela and her crew decorate events. They were on the ladder, off the ladder, they were hanging things on the ceiling, they were putting tables here, they were moving tables and chairs. It can be quite tedious. So a second challenge which you have just mentioned now is that you have to really be on top of your game when it comes to creativity. You really have to get your juice flowing in terms of creativity. Now, so tell us, are there any other challenges you think in your business?
I will say that is a personal challenge that I've encountered, because obviously I do get a driver that does all the delivery for me, because sometimes it's something that I find it difficult to be the one creating the flowers, getting the orders in, going to the flower market, and then having to drive to the, so all of this can be quite tiring. So having a driver, I found that it's quite easier for me, so at least I know that I don't have to worry too much about that side of things. But then again, that will cost a lot of money, and sometimes a single event can cost me maybe £500 just on transport. So I always have to bear in mind that transportation is something that can maybe scare the customers away sometimes when I send them quotes and invoice, because they cannot really understand why I'm charging maybe £300 or £400 or £500 transportation. But sometimes we do need quite big vans to be able to carry everything, and it's sometimes difficult to get everything in one go to the venue, so we need a lot of back and forth. So all those things obviously cost money, and I need to charge for that as well.
Most businesses have what we call peak seasons and quiet seasons. What, in your own opinion or experience, would you say are your peak times or peak seasons in the year when your business, when there's demand for your services, and when are your quiet times in the year?
Okay, so with the event business, the peak time is usually from springtime to the end of summer, beginning of autumn. But then during winter time, nobody really wants to have an event, because usually events or weddings, people are outside, they like to enjoy the sunshine, they want maybe to have that lovely day outside when they are taking pictures with their guests and things like that. So usually I will say summertime and springtimes are the busiest seasons for us, and then winter time, that's when we mainly get the corporate side of things running, like maybe Christmas parties or all those kind of things. But usually from end of October until beginning of March, it's quiet.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised about weddings not taking place in winter, because obviously winter season or winter times are when people are doing Thanksgiving, if you live in the United States, so you know what I'm talking about. And of course winter season is Christmas, so everybody's already thinking Christmas. So I can understand why your business will be quiet in winter. But of course, like you said, there will always be corporate parties, you know, end of year parties and that sort of thing. Now, but talking about end of year Christmas party, you know, we've just come out of pandemic, and the pandemic has changed the face of how we all do business now. Now people work from home. It's actually it's trending. It's now a trend to work from home, and the corporations out there are beginning to see that it can actually work for them to have employees work from their home, and of course it helps them save money. That said, do you think with the way things are going now, do you see more Christmas parties, more end of year corporate Christmas parties taking place, do you think?
I think that because of everything that has happened since the end of 2020, yes, 2020, companies have not really had the opportunity to have their employees in one space, and them being apart for so long. I do believe that this year will be big for Christmas parties and all those kind of celebrations. So I think we will see a big boom for those kind of things.
Parties, yeah.
Yes.
So what do you love most about this business? What exactly, is it the flowers, or is it the creativity? What exactly do you love about this business?
I would say it's a privilege to be able to be, first of all, trusted by my clients, to be able to just take a blank canvas and then transform the whole space and bring in something completely different from what it used to look like. So I feel like, yes, the creativity side of things.
So you like the transformation
Yes.
of taking just a bland,
Yes.
empty space
Yes.
and creating something magnificent.
Yes.
What sort of personality, what sort of characteristics can one possess to engage in a business like this?
I will say a lot of patience. a lot of patience, especially when you are dealing with brides, because as a business owner that is working in that industry, you might be doing that the whole year, and sometimes you might think that, okay, it's another wedding, but for them you have to remember that it's that one day, and that one day has to be perfect. So every single wedding that I do, I see it as my first wedding, in the sense that my bride wants everything to be perfect. Hopefully she will be getting married once
in her lifetime.
That's the thing. So we cannot have anything, no flower missing, or
the wrong colors.
Yes, everything has to be perfect. And I know that sometimes we say that we cannot really attain perfection, but brides expect perfection on
their wedding day.
Exactly. So I feel like you will need a lot of patience when you are dealing with them, because sometimes the emotions can be really
get high.
Yes. So sometimes they will ask for certain things that cannot be done, but you cannot tell them no, it can't be done. You have to find a way of presenting it so that they don't feel like, oh, you don't want me to have that perfect day that I've spent my whole life envisioning. Yes. So it's a lot of communication skills, a lot of patience, and a lot of empathy as well, because sometimes some of our clients, they might want certain things that are a bit out of their budget. So it's you finding the right words to explain to them that, okay, I know that's your vision, but we cannot do that within the budget. However, this is what I can present to you, and this is what I can do within your budget, which will obviously look as nice as what you've chosen. So a lot of, yes, communication skills and patience.
To engage in a business like this, you need to have patience.
Yes.
You need to have communication skills.
Yes.
And you need to have some empathy.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with a bride who has spent over half her lifetime envisioning a day like her wedding day.
Yes.
The next question now. Manuela, I know you are bilingual.
Yes.
What other languages, if you can share that with my audience, what other languages do you speak?
I speak French.
So you speak French and English fluently?
Yes. Donc oui, je parle français.
In what ways does being bilingual help your business?
I will say, and funny enough, some of my clients have mentioned that, and that's the reason why they've chosen me, because when it's something that I try to always display on my Instagram or social media. So when they see that I speak French, then they have that, how can I say that, they know that French people are very elegant, they know fashion, they know all those kind of things. So if I have a bride that is really into those kind of things, that is looking for the finer things in life, so definitely I know that me and her will really get along. So I feel like it's a really great marketing tools. And like I said, I've got brides that have chosen me especially because they know I'm French and I've got the French culture, and I will know what to use so that their events or their weddings really looks elegant, classy, and sophisticated.
Well, I suppose speaking another language actually is a bonus anywhere you go, whether in business or just on a personal level, because people relate to you more when you speak a language. It's kind of, they relate to you on a more, or at a deeper level when you speak their language. You talk to their heart, so to speak. When you work for somebody, you make a living. When you work for yourself as a business owner, you make a fortune. Manuela, I would like to ask this question, which I have always asked all previous business owners who have featured here on my channel. Can this event decoration business make you super rich? like make you a millionaire, or that is the goal of every business owner. You want to be able to get to that goal. You want to be super rich, such that you don't have to look at the bills when they push them through the door. So can this event decoration business make you super rich or make you a millionaire?
It's a good question. I will say it can definitely take you there, but the work that you will have to put in to get there is tremendous. So you have to be physically and mentally prepared to put in the work to get to that level. But definitely, there's some clients with bigger events company that spend almost $500,000 or $1 million just for flowers. For example, I can't really remember the exact price tag, but for Meghan Markle and Harry's wedding, I don't know if you've seen the beautiful arch they've designed at the entrance of the church, but that one was over 6 figures, so it was a lot of work, but the money definitely was a lot as well. So yes.
Well, viewers, here is a business that can make you a millionaire if you are ready to put in the work. What are your favorite advice for anyone looking to get started in this event decoration business?
Okay, there's quite a few, but personally for me, I will say you need to be prepared to work hard. If you are, sorry to say that, a lazy person, you will not survive in this business. So definitely you need to be hardworking, and also I know we've mentioned that before in the sense that you don't really need a degree, but you need some kind of knowledge. So I will say there's a lot of short courses out there in event planning or event styling that you can take. They last for maybe 3 months or 6 months, so it will be good to have like the basic knowledge of the business itself. And also you need to, I know that as a creative, we are not really good with money. When it comes to money, we don't really want to touch on that side of things, but you really need to be on point when it comes to your finances, because we've mentioned the seasons of this business, and sometimes money will not come in. So if you don't manage your finances very well, your business will not be able to last. So I will say you need to be good with money, and also have some kind of creativity. You need to be very creative to be able to deliver some quality services to your customers. So creativity, good money management, being ready to work hard, and what else?
Would you say punctuality?
Yes, punctuality is very, oh yes, that's very important as well, because most events have a timeline, so you will be given a certain time to maybe decorate a hall or a venue, and if you've been given maybe 4 hours, you need to make sure that everything will be done within that 4 hours, because you don't want the guests to arrive and still seeing you decorating and putting chairs together. It wouldn't look nice.
Yes. It wouldn't look professional.
Yes, at all.
Manuela, please tell me, if I was a bride looking for an event decorator, why should I hire you to decorate my wedding reception hall? Why should I hire you?
Okay, thank you, Lady Juliet. That's a very good question, and I believe as a company and as the business owner, I pride myself on delivering a very bespoke service to every single one of my clients. So I believe I'm not the decorator for everyone, but I will be a decorator for the bride that is looking for the finer things in life, for a bride that wants something out of the ordinary, because you can have a decorator that will come and set up your 10 centerpieces and then your tablecloth and then your napkins, and then she will go. But what I do is to really take the vision to another level, listen to my bride, listen to every single details that she will give me, the colors that she likes, the place that she likes to go on holiday to. Maybe I can use that to maybe decorate the table as a centerpiece, use that as an inspiration to incorporate some elements of her favorite colors, the favorite place that she likes to eat in. If she maybe likes Italy, and then she's getting married. Maybe I can try to find something that reflects Italy and incorporate that into a decor. So I will say that my services are very bespoke. So definitely, if a bride is looking for more than a decorator and wants something that will be a bit more special for a very special day, then I'm the person for that.
You kind of encapsulate a bride's vision. You
Yes.
capture it
Yes.
and you manifest it
Yes.
to the last detail.
Yes.
That's very good. Now, additional questions, if you don't mind,
No
Manuela.
problem at all.
Now, as you are aware,
Mhm.
Manuela, life is never without drama.
Yes.
There are
Especially with
always
this
ups
business.
and downs.
Yes.
Things can sometimes go wrong, not as planned.
Mhm.
Now, have you ever experienced a scenario where a client has signed a contract with you on, say, how many tables to decorate, the halls, handrails, etc., etc., and then on the day of the wedding, the client demands that you do other services or other duties outside of what the contract you have signed says. I'll give you an example. Say a client has hired you to decorate a hall along with 20 tables for her wedding, and on the wedding day she gets an unexpected 10 guests, additional guests to what she has. Now, these are guests that were not planned for.
Yes.
They show up at the reception and hope to be seated and entertained. And the bride or the bride's family comes up to you and say, please, can you set up table for 10 people? And this wasn't in your contract. Yes. First of all, have you ever experienced something like this before?
Definitely.
And how did you navigate a very kind of awkward situation? How did you navigate it?
I like the word that you use, contract. So with every single client, that's what I always do. There's a contract that shows everything that we've agreed with the invoice. So I just lay out every single details, 10 centerpieces, 20 chairs, or whatever they've ordered from me, and then they have to sign a contract that says that this is what we've agreed, and then we have to stick to it. So on the day, if maybe a family member comes to me and say that, oh, we've got 10 extra guests, or my cousin or my auntie or my nephew has arrived from America, they need to be seated, then I will tell them, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but we've agreed with the bride on 15 table that on this occasion I'm not going to be able to do much more than that, because as you can see, I've used all the flowers, I've used all the tablecloths. So I always try to refer them back to the contract that's already been signed. But most guests will not really understand that side of things because they were not with me and the bride when we signed the contract. So I always try to make them understand that this is what the bride has agreed, and as the customer dealing with her, I cannot go outside of what has already been discussed with her. Even though there's extra guests, we can maybe try to get a few chairs if they have chairs left for them to sit down, but I will not be able to do more than that because it's outside of what the bride wanted me to do.
And of course, outside your contract, which you have signed with the
Yes.
bride prior to the wedding day.
Yes.
Now, another question, please. Weddings are expensive events.
Yes.
No matter how small your wedding is, they come out a tad bit expensive. So sometimes weddings run into thousands of pounds or dollars or euro, depending where you are in the world.
Yes.
Now, on occasions, couples tend to want to cut corners on certain areas or certain aspects of their big day. On such occasions, they might delegate duties to their family members instead of hiring professionals like you,
Yes.
because they are cutting corners.
Yes.
Now, on that wedding day, those family members get carried away with the celebratory, mood of the day, that they tend to forget to tend to their responsibilities or the duties which they have been assigned to do on that day. Now, sometimes things really go wrong when they don't do what they're supposed to do. I mean, family members here.
Yes.
Now, when the dust settles, I mean, when the wedding or the big day has come and gone, somebody has to take the blame
Yes.
for things going wrong. Have you ever had a scenario where your company has been blamed for this or that?
Most of the clients that I encounter, by God's grace, everything goes well. They are happy, but sometimes it can happen that they are not happy, or they've spent way too much money and now they are looking at ways at getting back that money. So that's why it's always important to have your contract in place. And when things like that happen, I think for me, one thing that I've really learned with this business is to keep trace of every single communication that I've had with the clients, whether small or big, emails, text messages, pictures that has been sent to tell me this is the color of the tablecloth that I wanted, and everything needs to be laid out on paper. Verbal communication cannot work with this business, so I have to make sure that everything is on paper. Even if it's just one tick up, it has to be placed in the contract and the invoice, so at least if someone comes back later and said, oh, I wanted this, it wasn't done, I can always refer them to the contract and say, this is what we've agreed and I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do for you. So unfortunately, those kind of things happen. That's why it's always important to keep every single communication, so at least you can always refer them back to that and make sure that your company doesn't get the blame for something that you haven't done. But if you have, then it's also good to acknowledge your wrong, apologize, and sometimes offer them something that may be okay. On this occasion, I can offer you a free bouquet, or if you're having an event, then a little discount. So all these are things that you can do so that your company doesn't end up on the bad reviews of Google.
Wow. Well, viewers, you heard that? Always have everything in your contract. No matter how small you think it is, put it in your contract. And of course, you have to be meticulous here and track every single communication. Have every single communication in text, emails, or on paper, so that you can also use those ones to back up situations where there are kind of a misunderstanding. Never take anything verbal. Always track everything down to written agreement in your contract. Can I ask, how do you take payment for your services? Do you get payment before, some percentage of it, or you take all of the payment before the big day?
There's a percentage that will be taken once the contract is signed, and then they've got up to 1 month before the wedding to make the full payment, but the full payment will have to be made always before the wedding or the big event.
That's good. At least you get your money.
Yes.
In case anything ever happens.
Yes.
In case the groom does a disappearing act, you can always get your money.
Yes.
Or it could also be the bride anyway.
And those are things that I feel like for me, I didn't know really how to handle this kind of situation, because I feel like money sometimes can be a difficult topic. So starting out, you're so eager to get a contract, so anybody that comes, you will just say yes to them. And some of them, oh, can I maybe pay you after? I don't have a lot of money right now, weddings are expensive, and then you say yes. And I've had this instance at my beginning. I've said yes to the bride, and then she paid me some of the money and the rest was meant to be paid after. And then I get to the wedding, and what do I see? Vera Wang. I see all the most expensive champagne. She got married in this lavish hotel. So I thought, oh wow, maybe that's where the money went. And then after, I called her to tell her that, okay, now that the dust has settled, how do we go about payment? Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm on my honeymoon, I'll talk to you later. Okay. Then after that, the chasing starts. and then you chase and you chase, and sometimes you will never see your money back. So
are you serious?
Yes.
And have you ever had a scenario where somebody had done that to you, or just something you've heard out in the
I mean, I've
grapevine?
heard, yes, that those kind of things, if you are not careful and you don't get your money before the wedding,
You may never get your
unfortunately,
money.
some clients will always find little details to say that, oh, that wasn't done on the day. So
Just to avoid paying.
yes. So it's always best to get your money before upfront. But also make sure that whatever you've agreed, also as a decorator, to provide, you will also provide. Because if your customer has paid you, let's say £5,000, and you deliver a service that only costs £2,000, then they are entitled to come back and say, I'm not happy with the service, I want my money back.
Yes.
And if this goes to court, then it will be a difficult situation for you to handle. So I will say, make sure that whatever you promise your clients, you will do it. Don't over promise. That's another thing. Don't over promise, but over deliver.
So over deliver, but
Yes.
don't over promise.
Yes.
Now tell me, let's loosen up here a bit. Have you ever had a hilarious, funny moment in this business?
I don't really have funny moments, but the only one I can recall is sometimes I do mock-ups for clients that want to see how the flowers are gonna look like on the day. So they will come and I will set up the table for them with a few arrangements, just one table, so they can see the centerpieces or the flowers. So I had this couple that came in, and I think the groom must have been very thirsty, and I've got decorative candle holders that sometimes looks like glasses, proper glasses, wine glasses. So that day I didn't put the candle inside, I just placed the water, and by the time the groom entered it, he just took the water and started drinking it. But that was the water from the toilet. So,
oh my God!
So yes.
Now that's funny.
Yes, but
so basically you had got a glass, filled it with some water from the toilet,
yes,
and went to get a candle to put in it.
But I didn't put the candle in it because it wasn't really necessary, and I didn't think that someone will actually think that this is for drinking water. So as soon as he sat down, he took the
glass
and drank the whole thing. So before I could even say this is not drinking water, he had already finished the whole thing.
Oh.
So I told him that I'm so sorry, this wasn't meant for drinking. And then, you know, we all laughed about it, and thankfully they booked me for their wedding.
Oh, that's very good. That's good. It's been such fun chatting with you, and I do believe you've been able to take us in depth into your business. Viewers, a quick wrap up here for those who are just joining us. I've been chatting with Manuela Konan, the owner of Florissa Designs, event decoration company based here in London, United Kingdom. Manuela has been in the business 7 years. And throughout the interview, opened up and answered all the questions that we needed answers to. So here are some takeaways from this interview with Manuela. The first is that this business really is a business for anybody who is physically fit, because you have to do a lot of heavy lifting. You're moving tables, moving chairs, climbing up ladders, climbing down ladders, hanging things up here, hanging things down there. So there's a lot of bodily movement here, physical movement. So you must be physically fit. 2 is that you need to have good communication skill. Your communication skill has to be on point, because you have to do so much talking back and forth with your client, especially the bride. You need to be able to capture the bride's vision for her big day, so that you are able to manifest her vision to perfection in the hall or in the wedding reception or whatever it is you're going to be decorating for the big day. The third takeaway from this interview, she's mentioned punctuality as one of the things you must be able to do if you want to get involved in this business. You cannot afford to keep the bride and her guest waiting. That doesn't really look very professional.
Yes.
Time management is a big deal
Yes.
in this business, because you have only X amount of time to get a place ready for the big day. You also have to be an early bird. We're talking 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to catch the flower market.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you show up there at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, you have just missed the shops for the day. A fourth takeaway from this interview with my guest, Manuela, is that you have to know how to manage your funds, manage your money. Because the business has, as with all businesses, has highs and low season. And in low season, you still have to maintain your regular business expenses. So you have to know how to kind of strike that balance so that you are able to cover yourself nicely in the quiet season when the demand for your services are not that high. I can see that because I used to run a hostel, and I know that when your business is going through the quiet times, money is not coming in as it used to be in your busy times, then you have to kind of spread the money which you have already made in your busy time. You have to take some chunks of it to cover yourself up in a very quiet time. So yes, you must be a good money manager. Another takeaway from this is that you have to have everything in the contract. Every single communication with your client has to be documented.
Yes.
In text messages, in emails, and in the contract itself. This covers you for when things go wrong on the big day, and that way you are able to pull out all this documented communication with your client and be able to free yourself from any blame that might be put upon you by your client. So that's about it for this particular show. I hope you have been able to capture some very useful information from this interview. Hope you have been able to capture the true essence of what this business is all about, as I have. Like, I'm not thinking it's a glamorous business. This is a business that requires a lot of hard work, mentally, physically, and creatively. You really have to get your juice going.
Yes.
I'd like to thank my guest on the show, Miss Manuela Konan.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure having Manuela on the show. Thank you so much, Manuela.
Thank
It's
you, Lady Juliet.
a pleasure to have you on
Yes.
our show and having you educate myself and my viewers about your business. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's truly appreciated.
Thank you for having me, Lady Juliet. It's been a pleasure as well.
Viewers, thank you very much for watching the show. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And of course, click that notification button so that you will know when I upload a new video. And please, you know I love those comments. Please, please, please keep those comments coming so that we can continue the conversation in the comment section below. And remember, friends, that life and living is not cheap. Stay on the hustle, friends. Best wishes always. Many blessings.